In the arena, there are weapons that hit hard, and then there are weapons that never let go. If the railgun is a sniper's scalpel, today's weapon is a high voltage leash. It doesn't care about your timing or your luck. It only cares about one thing. How steady is your aim? Known as the shaft, this is the weapon that separates the pros from the noobs. It doesn't just damage you, it pins you, it humbles you, and in the right hands, it's a 120 damage per second death sentence. Today, we're checking out the Lightning Gun from Quake Live. All sources used for this video will be linked down in the description below. Like, sub, do all the YouTube stuff, it is greatly appreciated. Let's get into it. The Lightning Gun is the king of sustained DPS. Here are the stats. Projectile, lightning beam. The moment you fire, you release what I like to describe as a hose beam of liquid lightning. Damage, 6 damage per hit. While it dealt 8 damage in Quake 3 Arena, Quake Live eventually settled on 6 damage per hit. This was a massive shift that made the weapon less of an instant win button and more of a tactical choice. Rate of fire, 1 every 50 milliseconds or 20 bolts per second. This gives it a maximum potential of 120 damage per second, so long as your aim stays true the whole time. Range, 768 units, or medium. The Lightning Gun has a hard limit of 768 units. 1 unit further, and the beam is gone, making range management a vital skill with this weapon. And some additional stats: ammo, 150 max. This was trimmed down from 200 back in the old days. This helped reduce spam. You can't just shoot the LG indefinitely. And the Lightning Gun is also known as the shaft, or the LG. The most important tech change in Quake Live was the True Lightning command, which I'll put on screen here. It's CG_True Lightning, one word, with a value of 1. In older games, the beam would sway behind your crosshair as you turn. Quake Live allowed players to lock that beam directly to their crosshair, making the feedback loop between your hand and the screen perfectly 1-to-1. The LG is the control weapon. Its role is to punish movement errors. If an opponent jumps in the open or tries to rush you without a plan, the LG is there to keep them at arm's length while melting their stack. Stack is your health and your armor. By dropping the damage to 6, Quake Live balanced the LG against the rocket launcher. It meant that at mid-range, an LG user and a rocket user are on a level playing field. The winner isn't decided by the gun, but by who has the better movement and aim. Alright, let's talk about the looks and design. Visually, the Quake Live LG is cleaner and more modernized than its predecessor, the Thunderbolt from Quake 1. It has a distinct color palette and silhouette when compared to the rest of the Quake Live arsenal. The 2 prongs on the end also helps communicate that's where the shocking business comes out of, which I love. When fired, the beam is a steady, crackling, bluish-white bolt that feels like a surgical tool. This particle effect looks so liquidy and smooth, a visual treat for 1999 first-person shooter gaming. Listen to this. The sound design in Quake Live is a core part of the gameplay. When idle, the LG lets out a static electric fuzz sound. Nearby players can hear this, which, if you do, you better get ready to ride the lightning. And when it's fired, it lets out a thunderous crack, followed by the sound of pure high voltage sizzling through the environment. The game also uses hit beeps that change pitch based on how much damage you've dealt. When you're shafting someone, that rapid fire ding 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 gives you instant satisfying feedback on your accuracy. One of the best design choices in Quake Live was the addition of visible damage numbers. Seeing those 6s, which by the way, id Software just can't help themselves. Mark of the Beast, hell yeah. Anyhow, but seeing those 6s stack up creates a psychological pressure on both the attacker and the defender. It turns every engagement into a visible countdown to death. What makes this weapon great is its ability to manipulate physics. In Quake Live, the LG has a significant knockback. If you catch an opponent in midair, you can pin them, effectively stalling their movement and holding them in the air while you finish them off. Or maybe even push them off an edge to their death. This makes jump pads a death trap if someone is waiting at the top with the shaft. The LG also created a deep meta discussion about aim styles. There's mouse aiming, where you track with your hand, and strafe aiming, where you keep your crosshair still and use your movement keys A and D to keep the beam on the target. Mastering the blend of these two is what defines a top-tier Quake player. And we talked about this earlier, but the LG has a constant audible electric hum when held. This adds a layer of stealth versus power. If you hold the LG, everyone knows where you are. It's a trade-off that forces you to be smart about your positioning and only busts out the shaft when you're ready to use it. So, what makes the Lightning Gun from Quake Live a great weapon? The Quake Live Lightning Gun is the benchmark for how to balance a high damage per second weapon. It doesn't rely on random spread or lucky headshots. It is a 100% honest weapon. If you hit your shots, you win. If you don't, you die. It's the weapon that taught an entire generation of FPS players how to track, and it remains the most respected skill weapon in the entire arena shooter genre. What do you think of the Quake Live LG? What's your record LG accuracy in a match? And do you prefer the OG 8 damage per tick, or do you like the current balance of 6 damage per tick? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And stay tuned, because our next weapon is going to be a big and fancy one. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, share it with friends, and subscribe for more great gaming content. And if you're looking for more, check out this recommended video right here. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.